Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another video episode on the Forgotten Weapons Library. I'm Ian, and today we have a cool new book we've just gotten in. It's called Italy's Battle Rifle. It's by Russ Arendell and Steve Woodrum. This is, as it says, the story of the Mannlicher-Carcano Series of Rifles. Italy's Carcanos have always been a bit underappreciated. There's some cool rifles, but they really got themselves a bad reputation, and they haven't held a lot of market value, and it's only fairly recently that people have started taking a pretty serious interest in the Carcano. There are a lot of different variations, there are a bunch of different manufacturers, and it makes for a real cool segment of collecting, especially for those of us who are younger or newer or don't have the money to go after things like real highly valued German Mausers. Collecting Carcanos allows you to really get into the detail of a weapon's history and also do it on an affordable budget. One of the problems has been there really isn't much literature written on the Carcano rifles, largely because they haven't ever been all that popular. Well, Arendell and Woodrum clearly have written this book as it's truly a work of passion of theirs. They're very successful collectors of Carcanos themselves, and they've really spent a lot of time and effort putting together this book. It's a huge tome. It's a little over 400 pages long and goes into detail on, really does an excellent job covering all the important points of the Carcano rifles. However, this isn't put out by a big name publishing house. This was done kind of on the fly with a small printing house. And unfortunately, the production qualities kind of show through. Let's take a look inside, and we can see the pros and the cons here. As we go through the book, I think you'll see that if you're looking for information on the Carcano, particularly on collecting the Carcano, you will be absolutely thrilled with this book. It's a wealth of information, and it's really well set up for the aspiring or moderately successful collector. However, if you're looking for a really nice coffee table book, something to lay out and flip through and admire for its visuals and production quality, you will be a bit disappointed here. They did have to cut some corners because of the way this was printed. So, let's take a look inside. The main organization of this book, they start off with a chapter on each of the major types of Carcano. So in this case, the M91 Cavalry Carbine. The first major page for each type has a collection of photographs that are in color, which is very nice. These are really good pictures. It's really unfortunate they couldn't do the whole book in color. There was a first very brief printing run in color, but those are long gone. After that, the remainder of the pictures in each chapter are all black and white. So there's a lot of, they're going to look at the different sights, details on the sights, in this case the bayonet attachments, various markings on the barrel shank or receiver. And we go through that with each of the major types. Another example, barrel markings, different manufacturers, different proof marks are all covered. It's like I said, it's really an excellent source of information. There's a chapter on the German 8mm conversions. Once we get through all the main different types of Carcanos, just to stop here and point out for a minute, you can see some of the layout leaves a little bit to be desired. Pictures stacked together and so on. There is a chapter on Italian rifle grenades and grenade launchers. So this is the Tromboncini side-by-side grenade launcher. They also talk about the cup launchers, 1943 model, built very much like the German ones, and also the very early spigot grenades that were used in World War I. So really cool information on this. You don't see much of this around anywhere, really. There's a section, another chapter on various other markings you'll find on the guns. So like I said, real good collector's type information. More markings. Accessories, web gear, bayonets. And one of the neat parts that you don't often see in a book like this, at the very end, the last almost 100 pages are various period photographs involving Italian forces and Carcanos. And there's just neat stuff in here, like this one. A couple of Russian soldiers, one of whom has a captured Carcano. So, really neat material. For a collector, this is a great book. All right, so looking at what you've seen, I really wish the layout and the production quality were a little bit higher in this book because the information is outstanding. If you're interested in Carcanos, if you want to collect Carcanos, this book is absolutely something you really need to have. It's by far the best source of information on the rifles out there, and spending the money on this book, and it is $70 plus shipping, will save you a ton of money very quickly when you start buying rifles. However, if Carcanos aren't really your thing and you're just looking for a reference book to put on the shelf, this is awfully expensive for what it is. Like I said, you're going to have a hard time finding the information anywhere else, but I really think there's still an opening in the market that someone will come out with a book that has most of this information but does it in a really nice glossy format. And if something like that is put out by a major publisher, they could do it affordably, which is something that unfortunately this wasn't able to do. They had to sacrifice some of the production value in order to keep the cost reasonable for a small printing. If you do want to get a copy of this, Italy's Battle Rifle, you will have to phone the authors. There will be contact information below, so if you're interested you can give them a ring and grab a copy. This is going to be printed in very limited numbers. The first batch of color books was long gone before I even heard about them. This is one of the second printing. As you saw inside, it's mostly black and white. I don't know how many they're going to be making or whether they'll be doing a third printing. So if you want it, you should really act quickly and get a copy while they're available.